rebuilding. So I do think that, it was closed down. I'm sure we can get some kind of documentation for that if we need it, but it had been closed down about 2015 or so. The EPA closed it down and has not reopened it since. That's what the previous LSP had told me. So maybe we can get some documentation on that if that's helpful.
So one of the things to look for is the LSP normally does a final response plan.
Okay. All right.
And sometimes it's not unusual where DEP does not come forward with something that acknowledges that.
Okay.
And so if they and if they have not redressed it, if they haven't come back to it, it's generally viewed as being closed out. But why don't you run that by your LSP and just try to see what the last presented plan
Okay.
was to DEP.
Great. Yes, thank you. And the last LSP, it was Nova Armstrong was the company, and they actually merged with Beta.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if someone at Beta might be able to either track that down or write it up for us because they have all the data still.
I'll have to ask about that. That's a different department.
Thanks,
Mm-hmm.
Tyler.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Okay. Okay, that would be convenient. Janet, anything else?
The last item was that there had been some clearing on an adjacent private property, and
Mhm.
I think that's outside. Well, I think the restoration work is going to include that property, so it's really up to Tracy, the owner, to reach out to that property owner. I think you indicated you had tried to do so, but weren't
Yes.
able to be in.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct, Janet. I've reached out to him twice, and I think we discussed this at the last meeting. The first registered letter he did not pick up, and then I sent him another one, and I planned on sending several, but he did pick up the second one, and I have not heard a thing back from him, and he has all my contact info. Had even offered to buy the property. As many of you know, there was a scatter plot 40B planned there, so I don't know what his plans
All
are
right.
for it, but
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard back from him since then. And I know we had raised some concerns because it looks like one of his trees is going to fall in my shed, so it would be great to have a relationship with him, but he has not contacted us back so far. But of course, happy to do that cleanup work. Not a
And
problem.
what was the Janet? What was the extent of the disturbance?
There was some clearing. There were a couple trees taken down on that private adjacent property.
Okay. And is that shown in Tyler? Is that shown in your plan for existing conditions, or do you confine it to the lot?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay. And so two trees, or do you have any idea?
Oh, on the adjacent property, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think it was two, and yeah, my apologies because I think they were supposed to check that lot line, and I actually thought the lot line was in a different area too. But I think there was two, and the other concern was some wood chips from
Mm-hmm.
those
That's.
trees that were put on the
Mm-hmm.
property that could be cleaned up too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, that's something that Paul McManus can also review
Mhm.
when deal with that. I am not sure what sort of response you'll get from the landowner.
Mm.
He seems to have been laying low recently, so I don't know.
Even through
This.
the 40B, he never arrived to any of the meetings. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Interesting. And does anybody, Janet, do you know what the status of that 40B application was?
Yes, so ZBA denied it,
Mm-hmm.
basically on the grounds that it was a scattered uh, development.
Mm-hmm.
And the applicant appealed that to whatever the housing court was. The
Mm-hmm.
housing court ruled in favor of the applicant, and then the town has appealed that decision. So it's
Got it.
ongoing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay, Janet, is there anything else you'd like to have addressed relative to 90 Claybrook at this point?
So Tyler, if you could send us two hard copies, I think we only got your information digitally. So if you could pop two hard copies, um, that would be helpful into
Of of what?
of the existing site condition plan and then any write-up. I think there was also a wetland report that accompanied
Oh,
that.
so I think Artie had mentioned that he had somebody deliver hard copies of the plan. I can't
Hmm.
confirm if that's true or not. But
Okay,
if we need to, I can have that. I
okay,
can take care of that.
okay, I'll
Uh,
double check on that.
Yeah,
And
that,
then,
do you have an idea of what time frame Marty may have done that?
it was, yes, it was
think it was the
a week ago,
27th, maybe.
like 29th, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I
well, that,
believe
yeah,
so.
I was asking Deb for you,
Oh, okay.
so that, so you did
Yeah.
receive that?
Yes, but not the hard copy plans.
What did you receive?
I received the PDF, and I believe, I mean, I'll verify this tomorrow. Um, I just the actual report with the small mapping.
Okay, so Tyler, why don't you communicate with Artie and get those hard copies over. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
sure.
Okay. Anything else, Janet?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for updating us, and we look forward to getting the plans.
Great. Thank you.
Great, thanks, everybody. Bye.
Good night. Okay, returning to our regularly scheduled hearing. We have 14 Meadowbrook Road, an RDA application. Janet, why don't you fill us in?
So this is a straightforward RDA for soil testing for the septic replacement. And we generally do require the RDAs for the septic testing. It gives the commission a chance to get a sense of the property. And if they're testing as far away from the wetlands as possible. The majority of this lot is in the buffer zone. And so they are proposing two test areas. One is within the buffer, right at the 100-foot line, and the other one is outside. So they are doing everything they can to get this new system as far away from the wetlands as they can. So I would recommend approval with the 5 conditions I noted. The main one is a revised site plan, just showing on the site plan where the erosion control will go. It is referenced in the project narrative, but it's not shown on the site plan. And it's a very level lot. The whole front yard where the testing will be is in a disturbed lawn area. So straw wattles and a silt fence is what's proposed, and I think that's appropriate. The other recommendation, the 5th special condition, is just indicating that the commission has not approved the wetland delineation. I did walk the site and the backyard. A good portion of the yard is right at the wetland line, or even into the wetlands. So, and it wasn't a straight line. There was only one data point for the delineation. So I think at this point, I would be more comfortable just indicating we have not approved the delineation as shown.
Okay. Thank you. I had a question on given that these are typically one-day affairs. Karen, do you run across the requirement for erosion control for perk tests frequently?
So we don't, so first of all, Westwood doesn't have very many septic systems. We're mostly all sewer.
Oh,
But we would, yeah, require erosion control for soil testing, yes.
okay, because I'm just having done numerous, it's usually there's an excavation and a test, and it's filled in by 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon.
Yes, yes.
I'm not sure if on a flat lot whether silt fence seems like overkill if you have wattles.
Wattle should be fine. That site is really flat.
Yeah, that's my sense. So Jen, I think that's a fair enough thing for something that takes place in a matter of hours, and it's a lot more time consuming to install silt fence properly for something where I don't think it's really necessary based on this lot.
It was referenced in the project narrative that it would be wattles and silt fence, which is why I included that.
Okay, so and is that Karen? Was that you presenting
did,
that, or
yes.
is
I
there
did, yeah.
So I think just for the homeowner's purpose, I think we can dispense with the, with that. And I don't think you need to redo the plan, Janet. It could be something that you just were aware of when you go to review that. Okay. So your recommendation, Janet, then is to issue a negative DOA?
That's right. And I did just want to mention, I did do a site inspection. And I just wanted to confirm the legal ad was placed and published. And then we did receive documentation from Karen that all abutters had been notified.
Okay. Excellent. I'll entertain a motion to grant a negative RDA. Scheme negative determination of applicability. You want to
With the special conditions. Yeah.
right. And actually, this is a formal hearing, so why don't we we'll entertain a motion to close the hearing?
Move to close the hearing.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor? Sarah?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Zega?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, and then a motion to grant a negative determination
With the special conditions.
with the special conditions as noted in the regulatory report.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Sarah?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Sega?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, then just communicate with Janet, please, Karen, in terms of
Certainly. Yep.
the scheduling on that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Janet.
Oh,
Have a
Karen,
good night.
Karen,
Well-
while you're here, I just wanted to touch base on 21 Schaffner
Mhm.
and whether that erosion control has gone in.
I think they're working on it, so I will double check with them tomorrow, and I will get out there as soon as I can to take pictures to send to you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah,
Have a
that's
great
one that-
night.
That's one that absolutely needs the erosion control. So.
Oh, boy, does it? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, have a
Night.
good night, everyone.
Hopefully it doesn't rain too much tonight.
The
Yeah. Hi guys. I'm sorry. It's my first time here.
I haven't moved on to the next subject. So is that?
No, I'm
you-
still
He's
on
associated
14
with this one.
14 minutes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry.
and
I'm just trying to get a better understanding. I know number 5, it says negative DOA. What does that really mean? I mean, I'm just trying to understand what this says.
oh, so a determination of applicability is basically we're saying that this is such a benign project that you're not required to file a notice of intent. And so that it has less engineering involved. It's a one-day project. There are many things going there. So this is sort of the easiest level of conservation oversight. And so it seems a little contradictory that we're giving you a negative DOA, but the negative is actually a positive on your side. We're just saying that it doesn't rise to the level of requiring a notice of intent or an order of conditions,
Okay.
which are higher levels
Okay.
of oversight.
I always like when negative can be positive. That's
Right,
always
exactly.
good.
Yep, that's what. Yeah. In this case, it's a
Yes,
good thing.
In this case, it's a good thing, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's go.
and- okay.
Um,
Any other questions?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Mhm.
I know this is regarding this project with soil test and everything, and I already discussed this with Janet. So I know Janet, you walked the back of the house, and based on the plan that we already put together, the plan is to disturb the what is it called? The back of the house. I know you said it's very close to wetlands, where the patio is right now, to actually put like a foundation there. And I just wanted to ask if that would be a problem or that would be okay.
So is you looking to do an addition
Yeah,
in that area? So that would be a different filing. So
okay.
This filing is just to basically dig a bunch of holes in the ground and see where your water table is and where your septic system will end up being located.
Okay.
Then you'll do a filing if you find you have suitable soil, and frankly, given your house already exists, the town is very flexible on what you can install there. And then when you move forward for the actual installation of the septic system, because you're within the 100-foot buffer, then you'll file that notice of intent that I referenced there.
Okay.
And at that point, if you have an idea of what you if you're at that point to have the design done or the foundation concept, if you want to add that to that plan there, that could be incorporated into the notice of intent. And so that's the next level of oversight, because then the disruption putting a septic system in is much greater soil sitting on the ground, excavated, with the potential impact on the wetlands if it rains or that any mud goes down to the wetlands. Same thing if you're doing an addition, there's more excavation involved there. There's usually equipment traffic, all these things that can erode the soil and affect the wetlands. So that is in addition a different application that you would be filing as you move forward. This one
Okay.
is the quick one, just on concept of where things would go.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yes,
Good luck.
sir. Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you again.
Okay, thanks, Karen.
Have a good night.
You too. Okay, next we're 30 Mill Street, a COC request. Janet, why don't you fill this in? COC being a certificate of compliance.
Yes, so this was a septic system replacement. The work was done in compliance. However, the signage and bounds have not been installed, so the person reviewing the order of conditions, I guess, really didn't look at all the details. And so they submitted a COC request saying everything was done in compliance when in fact it wasn't. So I called that out and spoke to the owner, so she's aware. And the next step is for me to schedule a site meeting with her to identify the bounds and signage. And we also have the same issue with the next COC request. And I'm trying to think of a better way, either having applicants add the bound requirements and signage to the site plan somewhere, so that if someone's just looking at the site plan, at least this flags for them that this is a requirement. So I'm thinking for their next,
It's outlined on the order of conditions, right?
that's right.
But it can get lost in there if they're just looking at the plan. Historically, we've had an issue. People are hesitant to be told where to put them unless there's a site visit. I don't have a problem adding them to the plan with just something saying that they can be changed upon mutual agreement.
Right.
Mhm.
Or even not identifying the locations, but just a notation on the
Okay,
plan
yeah,
that it's required.
yeah, yeah. I think something has to be done there. Do we have a
I like that.
is there a check? We don't have a checklist for COCs. I mean, the assumption is somebody actually reads everything when they're reviewing it. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, there is an outline in the order of conditions that outlines everything that's required. But
Mhm.
we could put together a checklist, or with our online permitting, with our transition to online permitting, that is something, usually it's not an issue. But we could think about doing that, yeah.
Well, I think we can take it in stages. I think putting it on a plan and seeing how that goes moving forward. And if that doesn't work, we can take the next step. How's that sound?
Can I speak up? I'm on the 7 Buttercup Lane
Okay. Yeah.
as the contractor and designer.
Mhm.
Sorry, that's my dog. I would say that what might be helpful to make sure this doesn't happen is in the initial site walkthrough, maybe identify where the Conservation Commission would like the bounds and what signage we're supposed to purchase. That way it can be done at the beginning of the project, and not dependent upon the walkthrough. Because when I submitted the certificate of compliance, yes, I knew this was one of the things that might come up. But I was also expecting to have a site walk prior to this hearing. So I think if we get these steps set up towards the beginning, since they are in the order of conditions, and we do have a pre-construction walkthrough, it might eliminate this for me, who this is my first time doing a project within Dover. I mean, I would like to avoid this secondary meeting as well next one. So that's just something I think that could probably ease the process. Because as a contractor, I'm sort of waiting for direction from you guys a little bit of what you'd like to see. We want to satisfy the order of conditions, but it's not necessarily spelled out. What's the sign gonna say? What's the size? Where it needs to be posted? How many bounds? Where? And we could work with our surveyor, put them on the plan, and have them set up and marked with the as-built if this was done a little bit sooner. That's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. It's always good to get a perspective there from the field. Janet, does this location require bounds?
Yes.
And so, but they were not shown?
No.
Okay, and they weren't shown on the original plan?
That's right.
Okay. So what do you think what Colin has mentioned would be a way of addressing this?
I mean, also I'm saying, I guess, is I'm not trying to point any fingers, but if before the proposed plan was accepted, if the bounds were sort of marked out, my surveyor is going to come out and delineate, the extent of the hardscape, planting beds, drainage, grades, all those things. It'd be very simple for us to have them in one shot record that for you guys. That would be in the recorded plan.
No, I think that makes sense. And I think on certain other applications, we have located where bounds are on the front end. But the sign, Janet, is that spelled out in the order of conditions, or is that a separate policy page that we have for?
Nope, that's in the order of conditions too.
So it has the wording?
No, it says with wording and locations as approved by the commission prior to installation. And I think we went that direction because I'd say at least half the projects are substantial enough that there's disturbance that changes the site. And it's very hard it would be hard to, appropriate locate sign and bounds until the project's finished. And grading's finished and all that.
So and I think that's historically, Colin, that's what we've encountered. And yet part of it is they were, Janet, did you have any site visit scheduled for upon completion, or do you wait until you get a plan for that?
No, I wait until I get the COC request.
Okay,
Yeah.
so these things were in there, but apparently, and usually contractors go through the list, and then before they do their COC, they have Janet come out and take a look at the finished project to take a look at things in terms of location. But I think that's the main reason, Colin, that we do not do it in the front end, because there's so much site disturbance. But was this for a septic system, or what was this for?
This was for a landscape project that included replacing some walkways, alleviating some drainage issues. They had a sump pump that was dumping out, and we created a rain garden.
So I think in the future, it seems in the future, now so if you're doing any other jobs in Dover, we deal with a lot of repeat builders and contractors who are up to date on this, but maybe we can take a little attention to point this out a little bit more clearly to people when they do submissions. But I appreciate the input there.
Oh, thank you. And I mean, we're all trying to get better at this, right?
Yeah, no, it's a constant struggle. So,
And I include myself in that, sorry.
yeah, so anyway, so we'll, but as it is now, talk to Janet and arrange a site visit to locate those.
I will, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And so actually, so moving on to 30 mil, so we're basically, Janet, we're looking at continuing this to our next meeting.
That's right.
Okay, okay. Okay, and then next is 7 Buttercup Lane. I guess we just discussed that. We're doing the same.
That's right.
Okay, and so that ends our hearings for the evening. And then we'll move into our discussion. So land management work group update.
We're in process scheduling our next meeting for management plans and trails. I think bog bridges are still underway, though I need to go see if Greg needs help. John, you sent me photos of a Leopold bench that we're really interested in building, so I'm going to bring that up on the next agenda. Separately though, I volunteered to help with the Pine Street DLCT CR. So I just wanted to get before I jump too much in, I talked to Amy and Sarah Stewart about this. Before I get too far in, I wanted to make sure everyone was okay with me working on it, because my brother is now a board member and I don't feel like there's a conflict of interest, but if anyone else does, I don't want to rain on the parade.
No, I don't see a unless you find that you're in opposition to him, and then we'll discuss it.
so.
But
No, I think it sounds fine. I think
no,
Okay.
it seems
it's-
like
I
a
mean-
working relationship.
right, and you guys, we all wear multiple hats,
Yeah.
Right,
just
right.
wearing multiple hats.
Right.
Right.
And neither of us were actually on DLCT when this deal happened. So
Mhm, mhm. And
I'm
maybe
I'm keeping my DLCT hat on, not my Concom hat, but I'm just trying to add data to the
Mhm.
to the whys and
Yeah.
wherefores.
No, so no problem.
Cool.
Maybe we'll
Okay.
enhance your relationship.
Yeah.
So-
Anybody else want to be on DLCT?
No,
Anybody else want to be on open space? I have a spot open for a open space for a 1-year term. Sarah can tell you how much fun it is.
A baby
I think
term.
it's great. I mean, it's awesome. It's just, yeah, we need to
How
find
often do you meet?
Once a month
And what day?
for an hour and a half Tuesdays. At
Hour and a half.
7:30.
That sounds lovely. So, well, no commitments, but thank you for that. Let's see. So that covers, let's see, on the, so who's handling the update regarding public drinking water supply testing on the Ponzi land?
I have not heard much about this at all.
We
so
we got an email that came through. Janet, was that just sent through? Did it come through you, or did it just come from another town department?
So someone had asked me about this because this was an agenda item on the Board of Selectmen. And then we asked Cam about this at our last meeting. And he said he would have to get back to us. And he sent an email to you and myself, and then I distributed that to the full commission.
Okay.
And then Amy replied all with a number of questions that I think were all good questions. Cam is not here tonight, but I just thought maybe, I didn't know if we wanted maybe a formal letter to the Board of Selectmen, or Amy, maybe you just want to quickly outline your concerns.
Well, I can't remember what they were, but my first one is that it's wetlands and we're letting Aquarian go in there and do well testing without even an RDA. So that seems wrong. It's not our land. It belongs to the town, but the town doesn't have a water commissioner or whatever they was called before, so it's hard. It's the Ponzi land was given for water and conservation. So we kind of have
Mhm.
a half share of it, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody asked us either.
Mhm.
So I just
So,
think,
well, I think testing at the very least should come through us. I
right,
think
but they
I
are,
think,
that's what they were, I think they've already done it. I mean,
oh, really?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
so,
Somebody
so,
was saying last night on Open Space that bunch of Aquarian trucks were on Haven Street and people were wondering why they were there.
so we're gonna have to find the Board of Selectmen. The,
Yes,
so
I think so.
but you
The
also,
first fine.
I think one of the other points you mentioned was the, what's the other property off of Church Street there?
Haven, the
Haven,
Haven Street well, the
that
well,
had been decommissioned due to the mobile spill, but
right,
then
but it's
apparently
clean.
got a clean bill of health at some point.
Yeah, I
Um,
think at least 5 or 10 years ago.
I guess part of that is, given that it's wetland, uh, these, from what I can tell, these were the first communications that we saw relative to any discussion with Aquarian for this. Is that correct?
Well, I brought it up last night at Open Space, and Carol was like, on the one hand, we shouldn't be giving land to Aquarian to
Mm-hmm.
look for water. On
Mm-hmm.
the other hand, if they're willing to do the testing and tell us if there's good water there, then we don't have to lease it to them or
Mm-hmm.
give it to
Mm-hmm.
them. I mean, to lease it to them would have to come before town meeting.
No, it's an
So,
interest. Yeah,
so
it's
we may be
just.
getting some free, I don't know. The way Carol said you could spin it is we're getting free testing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
don't know if
Well,
that's,
it depends on what their contract is with them, and whether they
well,
make that clear.
they can't lease or rent land without having to go. That's what we learned with Springdale when we got 46 Springdale and we were trying to rent it.
Mm-hmm.
They realized it was untenable for us to be a landlord because in order to
Liability and. Mhm.
that's also why we can't rent any of the spaces, um, do a long-term lease to, the Child
See,
Development Corp or whatever that used to be the nursery school that used to be at Carroll when it
mhm,
was still when we were still in the unprofessional administration.
I see. Mhm.
We would rent out spaces in that building, but it turns out that as a town, we're really not supposed to do that. If you have a lease, you have to get approval at town meeting for it.
Mhm.
So that's why we couldn't rent
Mhm.
46
Mhm.
Springdale, and that's why we shouldn't be renting
Mhm.
Basic Carroll Center for long-term project
So one
things.
of the
You
things
can
that
rent
stood
at
out in
night.
those letters, one of the things that stood out in those letters to me was also the uh, potential entertaining of the idea of Aquarian tying into MWRA water in Westwood. And as far as I could, I did a brief search on that, that MWRA is not allowed to have private companies hook up to their project. That they're only with municipalities, and there's a history in Dover specifically to not hook up to MWRA because it will come up with a whole series of other issues there that may end up being very costly to the town, among other. I wasn't around when these things were first discussed back in the 70s and 80s and so forth. But it maybe the next time Cam is on, because Cam didn't seem to have that much information at the time. And thanks for talking to Carol about it. But I think we need more information, because anything to deal with it,
Yeah.
it's going to be conservation related. Um, and it is an interesting point because at one point, the wells off of Haven Street, were they managed by,
They were,
Dover
they were
Water at one point?
no, I don't know. I don't know. I thought they were just for municipal water.
Right, but they still have to be managed. I don't know if the highway department did that or if that was done via,
I
or it
thought
could
we
have,
had like a water person.
Hmm,
I don't know.
okay.
Who
So it
knows?
seems like we need some more information on that.
I mean, I wasn't here in 85 either when this spill happened in 85.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
anyway,
the
or that's what Carol was saying, or Justine was saying.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
And well, I would think given if you were to move forward on that, people might feel more comfortable. Well, testing on Haven would at least confirm that all those things disappeared. But people might feel more comfortable if it were to go through that it be on Ponzi instead. Um, but part
well,
of
I
it is
don't, I don't really care. I just don't want people out there digging holes in
yeah,
wetlands
without
coming to the
Mhm.
con.
I don't disagree. So so the question there would then be, should we just send a quick email to the selectmen saying that we should be informed of any proposal to enter into a wetland for
Might tell them that they need to submit an RDA.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
would
I think
Or
without
an
doubt,
NOI.
John, I think they're,
I mean, what Carol had me do to cut down a few trees on Dedham Street, it was when we cleared the lot there. We were glad to participate. But we don't know much about Aquarian, Eversource, whatever they are this week, in terms of their we do know that they came through with a proper NOI when they were redoing Knollwood there. But I
They
think we
didn't
should let,
actually do what they said they were going to do, but okay, yeah.
didn't they? I thought Janet, did they?
It was, I'm sorry,
It was kind of
Oh.
an aggressive interpretation of what we allowed.
yeah, to their little treatment system there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And was that because they put in that trench there, or drainage swale, or what additional was
I don't know because they've never come back for a certificate of compliance. So quite
ah
honestly, I'm not 100% sure, but I know there was some fencing and some drainage mitigation.
okay. Can you add that to your agenda to when you're doing site visits this week to swing by there and just take a look, please?
Yep.
Thanks. Anyway, there's no question we should be involved. I think a letter to the well, actually, rather than a letter at the moment, let's deal directly with that. I will talk to somebody in the selectmen to make that clear, and see where they're at on that.
Yeah, Cam wasn't at our meeting last night because they had a selectmen's meeting at the same time, so.
So, yeah, and so if I don't get the Cam soon, then hopefully we'll see him at our next meeting. Did you hear anything in terms of what their time frame was?
No.
For Ponzi,
Yeah,
Right.
I guess I thought from
Or you think it's already
Justine
done?
that they may already be in there, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, okay.
You just said that people thought people were wondering what the activity was.
Okay.
And I didn't get to the selectmen's meeting that had them on the agenda. I had a lot of meetings and travel lately.
Okay.
So.
Deb, can you ask Mona tomorrow just where they're at relative to what's going on in Ponzi land
Yeah. What's going on?
in terms of if they're doing if
Aquarian.
Eversource is doing any testing?
Mhm.
You mean Aquarian?
I believe Aquarium was bought by Eversource. So I think Eversource is
Well, Eversource is the parent company, but I think it's still under Aquarian.
still under
They were trying
Aquarium.
to sell it for ages. They're still trying to sell it, I think, but
Who
nobody wants to
Eversource
buy
is
it.
trying to sell it?
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, it goes back and forth. So
Yep.
a water company, whether let Mona know that we've been not informed of this, and just ask. We've had some inquiries about Aquarian trucks on Haven Street, and are they putting wells? Did the selectmen give them permission to, or just give us an update on
It's
whether they're
not,
putting wells?
I don't think that I think they're just testing they're not necessarily, maybe
No,
they're
no,
test
no, I'm not
wells.
saying, I'm saying
I don't know.
testing well. I'm
Oh,
I'm not
testing
saying, yeah,
wells, I see,
yeah,
sorry.
monitoring wells or things, you know, things,
Misunderstanding.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they just want to see what they have. And frankly, if they should still come in front of us, but if they're, you know, popping a 6-inch pipe down into the ground just to see where the water table is, it's pretty benign, but we should still be in the
But
loop.
they have to do they have to do that with equipment, right? They're
Yeah.
not just
Oh, no, that's what I said.
picking a
It's benign,
pipe
you know,
and
and
going bang,
no,
bang with their
they may
hand,
go in with a small track vehicle that's, you know, the size of a mini excavator or smaller.
right?
Regardless, you know, and Ponzi is close to impenetrable at times. So no, we should certainly be in that loop there. So Deb, can you check with Mona, please, and get back to me, please?
Yeah, maybe she will have some kind of documentation for me. Would be nice.
Yeah, and it's more, we're completely out of the loop, and this is something
Right.
that we wouldn't allow a homeowner to do. What, you know, and it's is it conservation property directly, or is it, you said it's
No,
split
they wouldn't, it's on my list,
to
but
acquire?
we didn't, well, we kept it simpler last time. Anna
Right.
just did the tax taken lots, and
Yep.
we were gonna do Ponzi and Haven Well land next.
Well, let's just see.
Yeah.
We need to pull ourselves into the loop so that we find out what's going on.
And maybe we should grab it quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
we left them off. They were originally on the list. So we also got
mhm.
like Valley Farm and a few other things that had been like bought for conservation but never deed restricted. We had Ponzi and Haven on the list, got some pushback from selectmen and others just at meetings as I went to the various boards because of the concern about, hey, what if we wanted to build wells on this property? So if everyone's getting a little jumpy around testing, this might be the time to raise that question again of like,
Well,
hey, testing is how it starts.
yeah, I think part of it too was we thought that it might prove a distraction at town meeting for
Yeah.
any sort of vote. It would just open it up and take, yeah, and so I think it was the wise thing to do, and it still may be the wise thing that they want to do. We just need to be in the loop.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
all. You know, to start.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, thanks, Deb. If you can contact Mona, please.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay. Let's see, our operating budget request. Are you looking at there? I don't have the numbers. Deb, did you just send something out with the budget? Deb?
Yep, sorry about that. I
Oh.
think what I sent along was there was some mention of it in the last select board meeting that may have taken place on Wednesday, perhaps? Is it? No, on Monday, Tuesday? What day do they meet ordinarily? Select board.
Was that yesterday? I mean, that you said that when
Cam
Cam
said
wasn't
you had a selectmen's meeting yesterday.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
4.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's what I sent along to you, that agenda.
Oh, okay. I thought you sent,
Okay.
do you have, and have you run across last year's budget?
Yes, FY 26.
Correct.
Yes, I
And
have.
have you sent that out to us?
I will.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we haven't, I don't think I mean, maybe John, you got it, but none of us got it.
No, I think it was just the way that the header was worded. I didn't have a chance to open it up. I
Okay.
think Deb had sent something like that yesterday or the day before.
Yes, it might have been yesterday. I did
So
send that.
that was just a notice of that it was on the agenda.
Yeah, but I think I also might have sent the FY 26. In any case, I will send it because I have it. I pulled it.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I
And
think
you want it for everybody?
yes, send it to
Okay.
everyone, please. And also add that to your list of questions for Mona, whether if our budget came up in the selectmen's meeting, what did they discuss? Because we had discussed with Cam this you know, trying to figure out what to do relative to increasing Janet's direct budget or keeping the status quo, because the extra money that we ask for very often, it comes very close to what all the town involved work that she does that comes out of our budget. So it's a way of sort of informing them on a year-to-year basis that this is additional work that Janet is doing on behalf of the town. But I think why don't we get the budget in, review that, and we do have to get, reviewing that for any ads that we may ask for. As I mentioned, was mentioned with Kim, and I've mentioned with other town officials, we are very parsimonious about asking for things. And yet we've been very good at increasing our maintenance and opening up things to town folk and things of that sort. So, we may be reviewing that for increasing our land management or our trail maintenance budget. So let's get those. We'll get those and we'll review those. We'll have those on the agenda for the next meeting. And before I forget, I don't know if it was on here. Okay, it is. I'm just going to skip over your invoice just for a moment because it's top of mind, Janet. But the land management issues at Valley Farm, is that relative to the mowing? Is that what you were thinking?
Yes, you had asked to
Okay.
put that on the agenda.
Yeah. So I spoke to Mark Ammons, and he had mentioned that he actually had not mowed that for 5 or 6 years. What he's done is he's mowed a 50-foot border, especially along Main Street. And he said it may give and as grass dies down and you end up with those clumps there, it may give the impression that something happened there, but he has actually not mowed it in that long of a period. So we discussed the idea, and we also went over the reason he hasn't been is because of the cypress spurge that was appearing there. And he didn't think it was at the time. He didn't think it was as much as what we found at 46 Springdale. So that led to a discussion about what we did at 46 Springdale. And Janet reached out to Bill Gewürztraminer or whatever it is, and so he just sent us references to those papers that from URI and some European studies on the beetle management of spurge. I'll be forwarding those over to Mark because he was curious about that. At the same time, what I wanted to bring up this evening is, Deb, do you have an idea of what we have left for unallocated budget numbers for maintenance?
No, I will have to look that up a bit. No, I don't know.
Okay, can
I'll
you
look it up.
because this will be the time as we're moving forward for next year's budget. Can you pull that out as well?
Maintenance.
So speaking to Mark, he said that he normally doing the brush hog trimming along the road, it probably runs around 12 hour, I think it's around $1,200. He said to go in and do the field would probably be another $1,800 to $2,200. And especially given that it's very dense at this point. I remember we went in a number of years ago looking, trying to walk across to see if we wanted to put a bridge between the two parcels there. And it was very hard to just get one leg in front of the other. It was that dense. So my sense is, I think it's, and I'm open to a vote this evening, is to approve him mowing the entire field. And he's getting ready to shut down for the year, but he can still fit it in with a budget in, in that range of $3,200 or thereabouts. Would people have any thoughts on that?
Jan,
John, my only thought is, and I can follow up with Bill on this, that it might, and I know in your email you indicated it might be better to mow the field well, and we could see the cypress spurge, but I'd want Bill's input on that. I think a healthy growth of cypress spurge might be better to feed the beetles and have them well established rather than cutting everything down to the ground.
So the growth, as I was from my reading, the growth happens in the spring. And it dies back, but it's all new growth in the spring. There's a root structure underneath there. The concern right at the moment is there's so much vegetation there. And that it's hard to even see the spurge because we have so much old grass on top of any new grass that's coming through. I think I don't want to have that sort of detail hold up our ability to actually identify how much spurge is there. I think it'll be easier to see with shorter grass. And we don't, even on Bill's feeling, we won't see how effective it is until next year anyway. So I don't think we would be, moving beyond, I don't know if we would move next year or not, but everything I read, right now we have 3 feet of grass there. If we don't cut it, we don't even know where to put stuff. We're not going to see the spurge come through on that. So I think it's much easier to see it with a freshly mowed field on that. And we're running into a time issue with Mark. So if it delays it a year, it still gives us more proof of concept to review at 46 Springdale. But I think that we do need to mow that field.
So I move to go ahead and approve mowing that field.
Okay. So do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Zaga?
Aye.
Amy?
Sorry, aye.
Okay, Anna?
I
And
guess,
Sarah?
and I'm sorry, I should have do it with the caveat that it'll be between $3,200 and $3,500.
Okay, sounds good. Let's start that vote again with that then. Zaga?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. And now, Deb, you can let us know if we actually have the money.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think we do. I think we do, and this may be a situation where we, if we don't, because I can't imagine this early in the fiscal year that we've appropriate everything. But we have a couple small funds, and I'll go over those funds with you, Deb. In the near future that we may be able to utilize if we for that sort of thing.
I think we've got plenty of land management money. At least
Yeah, I
I'm on a
think so.
quest to spend it, and I have not managed to do that yet. So
Oh, I feel so bad for you. But and just as a point of information, because I've my own guilt, Zager, is it Zager? Zyga? I keep wondering if I'm mispronouncing.
That's all
things.
right. It's Zyga.
It is Zyga. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. I
That's
kept
fine.
wondering if I was, seeing a little flinch every time I said so.
So I'm so used to people, it's
Any
just
variety of
this is my whole life.
pronunciations.
So yes,
Yes.
any
Mhm.
any version works.
Well, good.
As long as that still makes it legal.
My default was Zyga, but I thought I was being too fancy, so I was going.
Oh,
I was
no.
doing it wrong. So
Go with
okay.
fancy.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we Janet submitted a whopper of a bill, but she had a whopper of a month, and I had been either directly or tangentially involved in a number of things, and it's a heavy duty month. Between enforcement order visits and especially onboarding the online permitting, which is I think last week alone we had 4 hours of meetings on that for training. There's just a lot of inputting going on right at the moment, and Janet's been very helpful in that. Does anybody have any questions about her invoice at all? Anybody have a chance to review it? Okay, so I will entertain a motion to accept her invoice and issue payment on such. Actually, let me just pull out the amount here. Excuse me. In the amount of $14,322.50.
So moved.
Thank you. And Jen, did you have some?
Oh,
Did
sorry.
you? I didn't. Jen, did you have something to say? I thought I heard your voice, or was that someone else?
Nope, not me.
Okay, great. Okay, I heard a second. All in favor?
yeah.
Zyga,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Anna,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay. Let's see, and then we have a vote to reappoint Sarah, to open space. And is that for, what term is that?
I think it's a 1-year term.
Oh, okay. And were you, oh, so are you the one so you're not the 1-year term that's available, that's somebody else?
No.
Okay,
We
and
have a
are you willing,
person who's-
are you willing to continue in that role?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to appoint Sarah Monaco for the Open Space Committee. And Sarah, can
Somebody else better do that.
somebody else should second that rather than Sarah. Okay.
And
I'll make the motion.
and somebody else ought to move it
Second.
besides me.
Yeah, right, okay, so you want to second that, Anna?
I think I made the motion and
She
Zyga
made the
seconded, but
motion.
we
I
can
seconded.
swap.
Sorry.
I'm good either
Okay,
way.
there we go. So I guess, okay, boy, we're just spreading the wealth. Okay, all in favor? Zyga,
Aye.
Anna,
Aye.
I'm an aye. So the question I have, yeah, I don't see a conflict of having open space members confirm open space membership.
Sarah, yeah, and Sarah can vote for herself, and that's plenty for her.
Yeah, Sarah,
Aye.
okay, Amy,
Aye.
okay, great. So done, so moved. Thank you. Okay, Janet, why don't you fill us in?
So just a couple updates. Red Robin, I did have a fairly long conversation with Paul McGovern. He understands what we're looking for. And so he said he's getting his built plan in order. I think this will be a partial COC because they did quite a bit of landscaping and restoration plantings. But because of just the nature of the project, I think a partial would make sense. So we should see that in the next couple weeks.
So what's outstanding? There's still additional planting to be done, or?
No, the monitoring, and then they had to survive 3 growing seasons.
And so have we not issued COCs for people prior to that growing season period?
Usually we will wait. We
Okay,
usually
well, I don't hear any proposal on their end to sell the place, so yeah, okay.
31 Springdale, I know, John, you've been in touch with the owner, and I don't know if we have anything new. I do know, in talking with Deb, we do have an outstanding bill from Paul McManus, but Will Mitchell has not submitted a check to cover the escrow account.
And was that for, I don't know how much of that is work done versus his proposal, the initial deposit? Do we know if he ever produced an initial deposit on that?
Deb might be, it's my understanding that that was requested when Lori was here, but
Right,
we never got a check. And so
okay, that was my understanding as well. So Deb, one of the things we can discuss is somewhere we should have a file on when we use Paul McManus for peer review of things. And he generally issues a proposal and we get a deposit. And so we have accounting, we have accounts on a per applicant basis that show how those funds are being spent. And I don't know if you've run across those yet in your journey.
Do you, Janet, does the amount of 1,775 sound familiar to you?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll go back and check because there was a submission.
I think that was for Red.
Oh, yeah. No. So
no, I thought it was over 2,000 for
right, you're right. No, different.
So do you so why don't we, have you run across these accounts?
Yes,
Okay,
I have.
good. Okay.
And last week, and I will get you that. I thought I sent it. Last week, let's see, Paul McManus was paid directly from the applicant.
From,
that- is
for
that
which
the-
for which
uh,
property? For
that would
which
be,
prop,
Ecotech, or,
right, but for which property?
yeah,
Which address?
I believe it's 31 Springdale, but I'll
Oh.
double, because I
Okay, let's,
sent that all along and it was approved. So I will let you know which it is.
okay, let's appreciate
From
that.
the
And
third party peer review account.
yeah, and what I'd heard from Will Mitchell directly at one point was that he was very frustrated he couldn't get Rob Truax, which was, you know, supposedly the easy go-to because they had done the septic system and had all the survey points there. And he has since hired Artie Cheney Engineering to do that. So just to get the ball rolling there. And he tried for months, as far as I could, you know, through interactions I had with him to get Rob to get back to him. And I think we've run counted that a little bit as well. And which also reminds me, Janet or Deb, do either of you have any interaction with Joyce at this point?
None.
Okay. Okay, because Kristen Scalabrini has been trying for months to get her COC all done, and apparently she was told at one point from Joyce that the plan was done and Joyce was just reviewing things, and it's just been pulling teeth there. And I don't know what's going on there, but it has not been for lack of trying on their part to finish everything up. Just to put that out there. So she has texted me and called me on several occasions on that. Okay, Janet?
14 Rule Drive.
Mhm.
I have really had to chase down the owner to make sure things are being done. They were quite behind schedule. We just got an email from Debbie Anderson that all the plantings are in, so that is very good news. Signage and bounds will come next.
Mhm.
So they are moving in the right direction there, which is good.
Mhm.
We
Good.
already talked about 90 Claybrook,
Mhm.
21 Schaffner Lane. We talked about briefly. I know that Amy had some concerns that we address the
Oh,
conservation
right.
restriction on
Mhm.
their property. And they will be back in, their site assessment and wetland delineation is going to be tricky because they have just dug up into the wetlands. And there's so much fill, there's no way to even based on soils, to identify really where the wetlands are. So that's going to be tricky. I talked to Karen Skinner, she's overseeing that. But so they have until the end of November to get their assessment and the wetland delineation back to us. But I think Amy's concern is a good one about making sure they understand where the conservation restriction is and what the restrictions are on that.
Mhm.
And this was the one, I apologize, but I believe this is the one that was, 2 weeks ago, the young couple that just bought the house.
Mhm. Yeah, correct.
And they were just,
Going wild.
well,
Yeah.
I think they were gone wild, but they didn't know. And so it was, it
I
was,
think it may have yet been another situation of I don't know if a broker or somebody telling them, oh, there are no wetlands there.
right.
And this
Well-
came to us via Walter, who was out there for a roof inspection. And he asked them, and he said, this looks like, you sure there are no wetlands here? Oh,
so
no,
this
no,
was,
we were.
I was trying to figure out who kind of did the red flag.
Yeah, no, and he said, and because he wasn't sure, he didn't, when he expressed it to me, he just noted it's a whole bunch of dirt going up the driveway, as if there'd been trailers of dirt going in there. And so then I went by to take a look and I followed the dirt up to and saw that significant, 100 yards plus had been dumped there and everything cut. When I researched it, it was clear that lot was, that was the last lot to sell on that street because it had a very big slope going down to the back. Michael Hans built the house back in, I don't know, it was 97 maybe, by the time that got around to it when it closed. It had a multi-page deed that outlined all the easements on it, and including the conservation restriction that was done by the planning board, of which there are two in essence. So there's one that goes around, there's a wetland that goes around the circle, the whole backside of Schaffner Lane. And that comprises around 8.5 acres.
And
And
that's an actual CR that is to us,
right.
Concom.
Right. And so that is in place, that is ours. It is also pretty much impenetrable. It's in essence a stream that goes through there. And that is not the same as the trail that also doesn't exist, but there was, as part of that subdivision, there was a trail.
The trail, there's two trails. There's the trail that was originally planned during the planning board thing, which is impossible because it goes along the backs of the lots and that,
On
but
Draper.
not this particular lot. This particular lot doesn't have it. And that got rerouted when the CR was done, and there is a trail that runs along the front of the CR.
So it would be
for
in
most
the middle.
of the CR.
If that was the case, that trail would be in halfway down their yard.
No, it's not in theirs, but it's
It's elsewhere. Okay.
It starts a little bit farther up, like 1 or 2 lots up from there.
And then goes in across. Does it go in?
And it has a dog leg that goes out to somebody who wasn't part of the development. I guess I forget who's McTavish or somebody had a house
And
out there.
who owns that trail? Is that
We own the trail, I think, because we own the CR, and the trail is part of the CR.
It is. So I didn't see that in the wording. I saw just Baker.
The trail is part of the, that's one of the, I'm going to talk to Nina with Rick on
Okay.
on the 17th to find out whether, if a trail is part of a CR, if we therefore own it, we don't have to get it accepted by town meeting because it's already been approved not only by the Concom and the selectmen, but also by the Secretary of the Environment. So it seems, and if we don't, if the trail isn't there, then it's a violation of the CR to release the trail.
Where's the trail? Like,
it goes around some of the properties in Schaffner Lane.
And in behind
And
the
it
houses?
goes because of the wetlands, it actually goes sort of through their backyards, not the back of their backyards.
Right. Because
it was originally.
On 21 Schaffner.
It's very confusing, that area, because there are actually there were 3 different development periods or whatever. There's 3 different.
Have you run across a plan that shows the trails?
I have 3. Yes.
Okay. Can you email?
The CR plan shows the trail, or the subdivision plan shows the trails.
Can you?
I can only give. So which one do you want? You want the one with the CR on it that has the most recent trail. But it also connects to some other trails that are on previous things that are definitely not yet accepted. But I can send you the trail.
Well,
I can send you this. I'll send you the 2.
Yeah.
I would send
the CR and the 2 plans that the CR that come from the CR.
And I think, commissioners, if you look at Mass Mapper, I believe it shows the CR.
It does show the CR.
And you'll see as it runs behind the like 21 Schaffner, for example, that halfway down their lot, basically the edge of where they excavated, it embodies the wetland across the whole breadth of the wetland there. and then their lot continues on the other side of that.
Mhm.
And it's interesting, 'cause my guess is there may not be a trail that was ever put in, but we'll find out as
They didn't, there isn't a trail on 21.
No, I understand that. No, I'm saying,
It's
but in
the
general for
other
the trail,
trails, I'm sure that they weren't put in.
right? So that's
But-
this is in the development history of Dover
But
in the late 80s and
we
early,
own a trail there. Should anybody in the neighborhood ever want to put a trail in, they could do it
they
without
could. So
blessing.
I'm just as a point of information, is given I had done some development in town during the, those days, not in the 80s, but in the early 90s. The planning board required bridle easements. We ran into this with Ben Arthur Lane, and it
I was just
exists on
gonna
a
say,
number.
this reminds me of Ben
It
Arthur.
does, except that unlike Ben Arthur Lane, Ben Arthur had bounds. Ben Arthur actually had, the only problem with Ben Arthur was beyond not it being accepted formally.
We
Was
haven't
that
looked for these bounds. They could.
well, no, I know, as far as just knowing the developers involved and so forth, I would be blown away if there are bounds there. They're behind every house on the left side of Draper Road on your way down to 109. There is a 30-foot wide easement at the back of all those lots there. There are now 35-year-old pine trees there because nobody ever did anything with such an easement. It was this concept of maintaining bridle easements, but they never connected the dots at the end to have conservation or some other department actually take ownership of things. And so in this case, things have grown up very robustly.
Right, and that's the
And so
problem. Things
so
have
it's worth,
grown
and
up,
it's
so
also,
like,
it's also a matter of, is it contiguous to anything? So these are all things, now that this is to our attention, we can review that and find out what's actually, what the status is there. But this is sort of a remnant of that day and age when they would require these easements, but not do anything to actually maintain those easements. So we'll find out. On 21 Shafter, as you can see, and we know Mass Mapper plus or minus 10 feet or so, but it shows that easement going through their backyard. It also shows a little loop of wetlands that goes up almost to their porch.
Right.
And that's the stuff we'll have to, we'll see whether or not Mass Mapper's accurate on that. There, at least by the porch area there, they hadn't disturbed anything. Somebody may be able to put an auger in there and take a look for hydric soils. But we may just be looking at what the original wetlands line was, and we'll see what is it Karen who's handling that or Deb?
I think Karen is.
Karen, yeah.
It sounds
See,
like Karen earlier. She was handling
So we'll see, and we'll see what she, what case she can make on that. So I think I appreciate that, Amy, since you're familiar with those sorts of things, I appreciate you pulling
They're-
things together there.
You're in your mailbox.
Thank you. And let's see. Next up, we have 165 Center Street. So I think I showed the last meeting where things were. Deb just sent a letter out to me for review on although Deb, was that was addressed
57, because
right?
that was
So
the new owner letter.
oh, so was that just I thought you said, did you send me a draft?
Sent you a draft, but this one was very much tightened up.
The
one
draft is.
Sent today. The one
Is this for
Yeah.
170, 165 or
So it's, well, no, it
150.
actually, it says 157 on it.
57 is just the new
Did
owners?
they
Right.
close? Did
I
they?
don't think so. I researched a little online. I didn't see anything that really indicated that. But
Yeah.
I thought we wanted to have something, available should it happen sooner.
Yeah,
than-
I think our primary importance now is to get a draft for 165 because they've actually put plants in the ground. And I think well, I'll talk to you, Deb, on that. One of the things would be I think one of the things we want to send, your draft shows a copy of the plan for that. I think
Yes.
we may want to attach a copy of the conservation restriction.
Mhm.
as well, and maybe scan that in color with the highlighted areas that talk about the view scape. And I think we want to focus on 165 right now because there does appear to be a violation. And I think we talked about this at the last meeting. Probably our best bet is to uh, uh, get a letter out and create a site visit. So we can either have them show up here first or do a site visit first, which might be able to resolve things, you know.
And do you want to keep it general?
No.
In terms of it's that time for us to,
No, we can discuss. So if anyone had a chance to review Deb's letter, it basically said, "Hi, welcome to town. Where, we review our CRs from time to time. We'd like to make an arrangement to come out and take a look at yours. Please contact us, yada, yada, yada." The question is on 165, do we want to do that as a means of entry, or do we want to just say, because we don't know whether or not David Parrish had really informed them of that CR. David was certainly knowledgeable of it, and I can't recall if the deed out. I think the deed referenced it.
Yes, so I refer to it as the Nightingale deed.
Right.
It
Mhm.
is the Nightingale CR.
Yeah,
CR.
it is a
right.
Nightingale CR.
Right.
The question is the deed from David Parrish to those owners, who are still the same owners from 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes, that's
Is
Paul Gaynor.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So that's and do you know that just by happenstance, or are they part of are they equestrians, or how do you
No, they're not equestrians, but they allow us.
to go
my
through?
Yes, my Norfolk Hunt Club hat,
Mhm.
they allow us to go through, because that was the
Okay.
Nightingale easement.
So I think why don't we so the question there is whether we send them a letter saying it's time for us to do a site visit, and also it appears that we'd like to in particular review the plantings along Center Street as they relate to the conservation
Right,
restriction.
as it's violating the scenic view or what.
Well, let's before we do, why don't we just say we want to review that as part of our review,
Right.
and then we can bring that up.
The deed to the Gaynors does cite the CR.
CR, okay, great. So so maybe we'll incorporate that as noted in your deed from I can't remember what David Parrish's company is, but there's a conservation restriction, and that leads into the pros that Deb had. So it's time for our review to review that. And of note, we are concerned about the plantings along along Center Street.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, with my Norfolk Hunt Club hat, he's very nice, and I think.
Good. No, I would go into this. We're just going to go into this the assumption that they didn't know.
No,
I mean,
I don't think he did know, and I think.
Yeah, and I think
because his daughter got married and he had whatever. So.
Yeah. So no, but the plantings clearly show a desire to enhance their privacy, and that's not what they're allowed to do. So at the same time, I will add it to a next time Nina's coming around, just to cross some T's and dot some I's. But I think it's pretty clear. It's mentioned multiple times in the CR that the view from Center Street is the main part of the CR. So
Nina's here on the 17th.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I was gonna say the same.
Great. So just give me a moment to pop that into my calendar. Because one of the questions I have for her is also, if somebody did extensive planting within that building envelope, which impacted your view of the far fields, that may be permissible. It's a curious point, but clearly the main fields from Center Street that don't go back as far are still clearly what was intended in the CR.
Well, and the
So-
Nortons really opened up theirs once we pointed out to them.
Oh,
First off, they wanted to, and second
Yeah.
off, they said,
Oh,
"Oh,
no,
good. Well,
he
then
did a great
then
job.
we'll
and I think part-
definitely be doing that."
No,
Yeah, and I think
right.
part of that experience, which we can convey to the gainers, is that they have some trees that originally might have been saplings, but they're starting to get larger in their dense clumps along the stone wall there, which were the types of trees that the Nortons took down as part of their clearing up invasives and everything like that. And they were right on board with everything. They were great to work with. So we'll convey that to and what a special place it is to them as well. I think it might be best to well, we can actually incorporate the special place concept in the letter, but I think that's something we want to convey in person as well. So
And just so you all know, the Nortons have sold their property.
so it has sold.
It has sold.
Okay.
I
But
don't
the
know, I
deed-
don't know, I don't know.
Just check the deed. There's no deed yet.
Right, but I've been meaning to reach out to the
So-
realtor to just
Oh, so it's under agreement, is what you're saying?
under agreement, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So we'll be ready for, that's then Deb, that's when we'll send that letter out, once we
Right,
get the new
so that's a
Roman.
that's a double whammy, because it's the old Norton's, old Powers property that's gonna be new, and then
Yep.
the gainers, so.
Yeah, well, so one is to welcome them to town and let them know how special things are, and the other is that you may have done something that contravenes this, so let's work it all out.
Well, you don't have
Um,
to, tell them that they've done something wrong in the letter. You can just say,
No,
"We'd like to
that's
come
it.
and
Yep.
walk it
So-
with you."
So that's it. Deb and I will go over a new draft for that.
And I really believe, I mean, I've only met Paul Gaynor a couple times, but I think he's not really at the house that often. I think the landscapers, it's a typical, like, I don't want to speak for him, but I just think that, you know,
Yeah, we'll see. So we'll
We'll
take it
see.
as
we'll see.
we'll take it as innocent and
Right, exactly.
and then just and on the other end, there are 40 arborvitaes that he may need to resell.
Right,
So
and then we could figure out, like, there's plenty of places that we can put them at.
I think we could probably just let the deer take care of them over the winter.
you know, if they got, I've been looking at things. I think I'm going to go with rhododendrons, but which is much more helpful. But I was looking at arborvitae in front of my house, and the green giants, which I detest, they're the ones that grow to 30 feet tall and in a matter of years. They are immune to deer. That's why everyone plants them. But they're
Interesting. I
really
didn't know that.
they're the least attractive of the cypress type trees there. So I don't know which ones. I don't know which ones they planted there. So anyway,
They're little ones.
so
I mean,
we'll
they're
get
only-
we'll get the appropriate letters out, and we'll move forward to set up a site visit on that. Let's see. Next thing. Legal requirements for, I still have not, so the legal requirements for WPA and bylaw filing fees. I had gone over that with Nina. I will add that to my discussion. I will try to get a slot in on the 17th. She was supposed to get back to us on that. So thanks, Jennifer. Keep keeping that in front of us.
Okay.
And let's see. Oh, 81 and 85, tell us.
Yes, so this is interesting. So they have, can you hear me?
Yep,
Okay.
we're just shocked.
So they have formally withdrawn without prejudice their 40B application for the Red Robin 2 on Tisdale Drive. And what I've heard, it's primarily because of the water issue. Aquarian has said they will not be able to provide them with water. And then the second is there are ownership and access issues on Tisdale Drive. The Tisdale Drive Homeowners Association is in litigation saying that they own the road. It's a private way. It was never formally accepted. And so they have no right to pass or repass on that. So So that went south pretty fast. So it may be back, but right now it's off the table. So,
Okay. Mhm.
and that's it for
Um,
me.
okey-doke, great. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add? Nobody hosting a Christmas
Hold
party?
on, one quick comment. So because I wear multiple hats, the Norfolk Hunt Club has kind of gotten in trouble with the Medfield Concom. So
Oh,
yes, so I had a in-person meeting yesterday.
mhm,
Everything's gonna be good. Everything's fine. But I will say that I think Dover Concom is fantastic compared to a lot of other towns. And I think, other towns like Medfield is struggling. So
oh, they're very stressed out, yeah.
they're very stressed out. So I just want to say that I'm very proud to be part of the Concom of Dover, and we have our act together. And I met Finn, Janet. I don't know if he's reached out to you, but he's the new Medfield agent.
And is he an agent or a consulting agent?
No, he's an agent.
Oh, they got it, so they went with a full agent, interesting.
I think at least that's how he introduced himself to me. But
Okay.
anyway, so it was very interesting to meet another Concom group.
Mhm.
And I only wanted to meet them over on Sawmill, which is on basically right in School Street in Dover. That whole area that goes right to the Norfolk Hunt Club race course.
Mhm.
But it's interesting. I always thought it was Medfield Concom, but it's actually part of Water and Sewer.
Oh, okay.
So that's a whole nother level. I'm like, okay,
So were you guys doing work there that wasn't permitted or?
no, our horses ride through there. And so
Yeah.
they were complaining about that. And I'm like, okay, so, well, and they're like, well, actually, this isn't Medfield Concom. I'm like, okay, so it was just one of those like, and then
Mhm.
I had multiple areas that I wanted to go through with them, but we spent an hour only on Sawmill. So I was like, okay, I'm going to come back in January with our plan, and I'm going to present all the areas that we'll go through Medfield Concom to ask for permission.
Mhm.
But it was interesting. One of the guys who's been on the commission, like you, John, and Tim for years, and I just said, I just said, to be perfectly honest, a lot of these trails we've kind of inherited, and it was always open space in our minds. And our older people just kind of just assumed that we could still ride through. And he said, I agree. But I guess the new chairwoman of Medfield is very like strict, and like, because she said you need to ask permission. And I said, well, to be honest, when the Norfolk Hunt Club has to ask permission for the Dover Concom, I usually, give our chairman like 2 weeks permission. And I just send him an email and just say, John, is it okay if the hunt rides through?
Mhm.
And the older gentleman that has been on the commission for a long time, he was like, yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. I don't understand why you need to come in front of us with this whole big
Mhm.
presentation.
Mhm. Mhm.
So anyway,
No, I think it sounds like there's an opportunity to uh for positive PR for the Hunt Club through a new board that may not be familiar with things.
well, and John, not you, John, but the
Yeah,
John
but
that's been on that, but he was like, I can see like I see how all the trail systems work. And
Mhm.
and I said, this has been like, our club's been around for 135 years. And a lot of this was just like private land that has been like then donated and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Who owns it and blah, blah, blah. But we just sometimes just assume. So anyway, he was just like, oh, he kept saying, don't worry about that. But Deb, the new
Mhm.
chair, was just like, well, you need permission. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll figure
So
it out.
so Deb is the chair, is Deb the chair or who's?
Yeah, Deborah Burrow is her name.
Is
She's
she an attorney or?
she is an attorney.
Yeah, so yeah, I've spoken to her on a couple of occasions, and they had a consultant but they would just, the consultant was like 5 hours a week, and because she was an attorney, a lot of stuff was being, thrown at her as well, and it was quite a workload. So I'm glad they got somebody in there.
Yeah, no, Finn seems like a great, great,
Mhm.
I don't want to say kid, but an adult. And I told him, Janet, I said, Janet, I said, Finn, we've got a great agent who would be a great resource for you. I think he's a little bit like, he's trying to figure it all out and trying to figure out like what town has to do, like and then of course I made the grave mistake of saying, well, I met Kristen, I can never say her name. She's the town administrative person in Medfield.
Mhm.
It's a long name. And
Mhm.
Deb was just like, her back got up and she's like, oh, we don't agree with the town administrative person. You only need to go with us. And I'm like, okay. I was like, oh,
Well, it's interesting. As a note from Medfield, I went to a concert at Medfield State probably 3 or 4 weeks ago.
was
And
it a Bell Forge? Was it a Bell Forge?
yeah, and
Yeah.
looking into Bell Forge, which half their board seems to live in Dover, and their proposal for what they're looking to do there, they're taking over the chapel and another building, and really making quite an art center. And they've raised $20 million, I think, so far, privately to do so. And then there's a developer lined up to convert a lot of the other buildings into housing of some form. It really is, quite the location, and they've been having a whole series of concerts, through the summer, which their PR is not that good because I had no idea, and the only reason I went to this one was somebody I knew was playing it, and
I'm
it
on
was
their
on
mailing list for some reason.
Oh,
I don't
well,
know if
I
it's
was
because I
I
live in
was
the
on
south
their
of
mailing list.
Yeah,
I should be on
Yeah,
their
how does
mailing
one get
list,
on
but
their
I'm
mailing
not.
list?
Well,
I'm not.
so we look into it. I actually met one of the directors at Open Space, and asked him about that. The concert that I went to was several members of the old Coral Reefers band from Jimmy Buffett. There were 200 people there. If anybody had known, there would have been 1,000.
Right.
It could have been a fundraising opportunity. But it was also it was Medfield Day, and on the Medfield Day website, there was no coordination. There was no mention of this concert going on, at the end of Medfield Day. But so I think, they have some things to wrinkle out there, but the proposals are great. And it really looks like, a real boon to the area as it gets cranking. So
Yeah.
When
let's see.
Yeah. Anyway, I think
Anyone?
I think Med State's going to be great, but I think I think Medfield Concom is definitely going through their growing phase
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, I hear from, just to let you know, from another point of view, I hear from many engineers and and wetland scientists that they really do appreciate the way we handle things. We are very data driven. We're professional. It's not our first rodeo. They get clear guidance on things. And so, no, I think the feedback that I've heard, and as you've heard, Sarah, and maybe it has something to do with 30-year continuity here and there, but it's so it's I like you, I'm proud to be on the board. So
Sarah,
go
if
ahead.
you find or hear about a trail group that's similar to us, I would love to talk to them. So
Oh, in Medfield?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they
think-
exist or if they're
I
an
don't think
NGO or something.
I don't think it does exist because I think I literally was like, I mean, I had all intentions of like going to every conservation property in Medfield, and they were like, anyway, I will
Okay.
reach out to Deb, but I don't think there is one. I mean, I think
So-
her whole thing, at least from my perspective, was we've gotten a couple complaints, and this is I'm wearing my Norfolk Hunt Club hat.
From horses going through properties?
Yes, on
Mhm.
Concom property, not getting permission and the manure being there. And so people are calling to Medfield Concom saying, my dog ate manure, you know, blah, 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 blah.
It's better than
Then-
chocolate.
Yes,
I'm like, it's
they
better,
can handle that.
it's better than goose poop. But like, so,
Yeah, you won't get bird flu from horse poop.
God, so like, anyway, so I've been like, this has been
Yeah,
escalating.
no, it's an interesting experience, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Horses
have
were
you-
here before the dogs.
And horses, the manure is what our gardens thrive on. Like,
Right.
Put
whatever.
a muzzle on
So-
your dog. I do that. Solves that
You
problem.
know, no,
But
just, you know,
Deb
people like to
did
let them
say,
run.
but Deb did say when I said something about manure, she's like, well, as long as the manure is not going into the wetlands.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I was like,
So-
okay, good point.
And Anna, have you dealt with have you communicated at all with the Forest and Trails Association in Sherburne?
No, I should.
Yeah.
That would be worth searching out.
And they are fantastic, and they are huge proponents of all of us. Like they are, Amy and I have gone to a couple, like 2 or 3 years in a row of their,
Their
Oh,
yeah, their winter
Yes, yeah.
community convocation. I don't know what they call it. I forget what they call it.
it's at the community
Conservation
center.
convocation or something like that.
that's
Really
fun.
fun.
It's
It is awesome.
it's a dinner
good,
with
and it's
probably
really good.
150 people.
Wow.
It
I will
sells
email
out
them.
every time, and
Oh, yeah. Lots of
the
Birkenstocks.
And
The,
lots of
It
Birkenstocks,
is good.
but
and
the
the
thing that's
great speakers too.
great
Mhm,
speakers. And the thing that's amazing is the first time I went, which was probably like 5 or 7 years ago, was when the guy from Harvard brought up the map where he showed Sherburne and Dover with all of Massachusetts. And he said, look at all the green space that you guys have. You've
mhm,
done an
mhm,
amazing job of conserving and preserving all this land.
mhm.
And
So
that
the
was
the Trails Association is we could definitely get some pointers. They are very active. I think they might have
Yeah.
20 members. And the question is, for a town that is you know, a third smaller, how do they get people involved? And at the
I will
at the
email
last
them right now. I just
yeah, at
found
the
their
last
site.
convocation, I was going around asking people. Nobody had a direct answer, but there, you know, it's but the fact that there was that many people all there for that that committee was great. So so I think that's definitely stuff we can learn there.
They have, I don't know if everyone has seen their book, Sherburne Walks.
yeah.
It's
No,
wonderful.
I have that. No, I have to find that.
Might,
That's a-
you might remember they came to us about 4 years ago and offered to help put together a book like that for, I think they wanted like 15,000 or 20,000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't entirely altruistic, but anyways, they would be a really good resource for us. Yeah. Arthur Shanur,
Junior.
yeah,
Mhm.
he's one of the driving forces. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're very impressive, nice group of people. So okay, anything else?
Any-
Okay, hearing no objections, tonight's meeting is adjourned. Thank you everyone for
Thank
all the
you.
input. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.